This is Mick, and today I am joined by the beautiful Leah Hope Mancuso. How are you, Leah?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, gorgeous. Your story has so much energy and so much life, and it deserves to be on big stages. You are just this beautiful soul, and I don't even know that you realize how peaceful and kind and genuine and authentic you come off.
Oh my goodness, that is so sweet. Like, those are all words that I would love to feel like I encompass those things.
I mean, you're a photographer by trade,
Yes.
and how long have you been doing photography?
I've been doing photography for about 12 years, but only full time for 4 years.
Okay, and what drove you to that industry?
It's kind of a fun story. I'll try to give the quick version of it. So, in 2009, my apartment burnt down
Okay.
and I got some insurance money, and I was 19, 20 years old. That was the most amount of money I'd ever had at a time. And I should have bought clothes and like things that I lost in the fire, but instead I bought a camera.
Oh, okay.
And I bought a camera just to take pictures of my own life. Like, I just thought I was going to document my life better. And then it turned into like, oh, Leah has a camera. Can you come take pictures of this baby shower? Oh, can you take pictures? We just got engaged and we don't want to pay a photographer. Can we pay you, or not pay you,
Yeah.
but have our friend come take pictures? And I just started like slowly exploring it and was like, hey, I kind of like this. And so then it just turned into friends telling their friends about me, and slowly transitioning. I was a nanny before that. And so I just was able to take my time to slowly transition out of nannying into photography and do both at the same time for a little while. And yeah, that really is how it happened. Like, I really don't think I'd be a photographer if my apartment hadn't burnt down. So,
That's a great story, Leah. But okay, there's one thing is buying a camera. Another thing is actually being able to take and capture the essence of your subject.
yeah.
That's a whole different thing. So clearly you have a creative side to you. You have an eye for things.
Yeah, I do. I've always been more creative. Well, I grew up wanting to be an actress, and I did later realize there was this little part of my life as a early teen where I like had my little brothers model for me, and I just took a cheap digital camera and took pictures of them. So I was like, "Oh, this was something I was interested in." But I just never even entertained the idea of it because I was just going to be an actress. Like, I wasn't going to do anything else. But I've enjoyed like painting and making jewelry, and I definitely love having some kind of a creative outlet in some way. And so photography just felt like, oh, this makes sense and I love it. And so I just kept going.
Okay, so I love this, but the real story here is that at some point you decided to take the camera and flip it on yourself. And
Yeah.
now I can find you on Instagram. And may I say, did I read this correctly? You have over 300,000 followers?
Yes. Yeah.
How is that possible? Let's just get right into it.
Okay.
Okay, so your Instagram account, it says you're not chasing a smaller body, but a bigger life. What does that mean?
So I have this Instagram account is me sharing my health journey. I have lost over 200 pounds in the last 2 years. And that has been a big part of my mindset going into it. Is this is the first time I went into losing weight, not just trying to lose weight, but to gain health instead. And that mindset shift made all the difference. And so I focused on, you know what, this is not about being smaller. This is not about fitting into society's standard of beauty. This is about being free and being able to live more and do the things I want to do without the limitations of an almost 400-pound body. And so I started that journey. It hasn't even been a full 2 years yet. We're about a month away from a full 2 years ago when I just started implementing really small changes to focus on gaining healthy habits instead of just seeking the next quick fix or whatever could make me lose weight the fastest. I really went into this saying, no, this time I'm going to change my life. And so it's okay if it goes slow because this is forever. And maybe 200 pounds in 2 years doesn't sound slow, like naturally doesn't sound slow to a lot of people, but when you're living it day to day, it feels really slow. And I had to be really patient with the process, and it's been worth it all.
Okay, I have so many questions.
Yes.
First of all, where do you get the bravery to say, I'm going to turn the camera inward, I'm going to document myself, and I'm going to put myself out there at you? You said 400 pounds? Is that where you started?
So that's the weight I started at. That's not when I started sharing
Okay.
online. Um, because I was so insecure, I didn't know that it was gonna work this time, that this was
Hmm.
gonna turn into a real lifestyle thing. So I didn't start sharing online until a year into my journey. So I had lost 100 pounds, and I said, you know what? I think I want to help other people, because I was that person thinking, watching these things online and being like, oh, that's great for you, but I could never do it. That was me. And I know that some people probably watch my videos and think that same thing, but the whole point is that I'm saying, no, it is you. It can be you, because I was just like you. Like, there is nothing. I do think that I am special in some ways, but not in this way. Not when it comes to weight loss. Like, I am just someone who decided I can't keep living the way that I'm living. And so I'm going to start making these changes. And that's what I did. And the documenting, so I did start documenting from the beginning. And I think that's just the photographer in me.
Hmm.
I didn't document thinking, there was no part of me that thought someday millions of people will see these videos. If I thought millions of people were going to see these videos of me, I would have done better. Like, I wouldn't have had done it on a carpet with stains and like not cleaned up my bedroom, and I would have made more of an effort. I documented the journey for me because, like I said, I'm a photographer. I know how important it is to document changes and seasons and life like that. And I also knew that I would struggle to see the differences in myself. And it's true. I didn't, the first time I noticed the difference was in a picture. Like, and it was
Mm.
probably about 6 or 7 months in, like losing close to around 70 pounds. I still hadn't noticed a difference looking in the mirror. And then I looked at these two pictures and I was like, oh, I think that's a little different. And I had to like ask family members. I was like, do you think I look different?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, you do. But if I didn't have pictures, even now, 200 pounds less, if I didn't have pictures and videos, I'd probably be like, yeah, maybe I've lost 50 pounds, 75. Like, I just wouldn't fully grasp. The pictures and videos have made it feel so much more real to me.
And is this something that you feel too that it holds you accountable because you are
Yeah,
sort of in the out there?
I do. Yes, sharing online, absolutely. when
Mhm.
I when I first started sharing and had like a video blow up, I was just crying the whole week. And part of it was like, yes, there were some not nice comments when you have a video going viral, but part of it, I was like, oh crap, like I'm stuck. Now I have to do this. Now I have to stay on this path because I have hundreds of thousands of people interested in my journey and watching me and wanting to be inspired by me. And it's like, now, now I can't just stop whenever I mean, I could, but then I'd have all of these people that I feel accountable to now, which is great. And it's also why, whenever I had tried getting healthier in the past, I did not want accountability. I did not tell family and friends because I wanted to quit whenever I wanted to
Mm.
quit. And that has actually been a big part of why this time was successful for me. I had accountability in multiple areas. I told my family, I told friends eventually, not right away because I was still unsure if this was going to be the time that worked and I didn't want to look foolish if it didn't work. But I went to a wellness retreat a few months in, and that, like, having that accountability of going there, the investment of my money, my time, my energy in that retreat, having all of those things on the line is a big part of what made this time be able to work for me, because I wasn't it would have been a lot harder to quit. It would have been a lot of people I had to tell, and money I would have lost, and time
Mhm.
I would have wasted, as opposed to when I had tried in the past, I was only disappointing myself. I'm fine disappointing myself. I don't want to disappoint others.
Mm. So how like in your life, how do you get to 400 pounds?
Yeah. And that is a question that I get asked a lot in comments, is like people will say, good job and no offense, but how did it get that far?
Mhm.
And I think it is a lot more subtle than people think that it is. Like you look at someone who's 400 pounds and you think there's no way that they can't know like how big they are, how much this is affecting their life. And I mean, I guess I wouldn't say that I didn't know, but I would say that I was neglecting it and I was in denial of it. And I was comfortable in my discomfort at that size.
Mm.
It was gradual for me. I started slowly gaining weight as a child, like around 6, 7 years old. The first time I was called chubby, I was in third grade, and I was just the chubby kid for most of my life. And then around 16 years old, when I could drive. That's when I gained about 100 pounds in high school, because the freedom of driving, being able to pick up whatever food whenever I wanted. And there was just something about that to me that I loved. And that is when it really started happening a lot faster. And then since then, still gained another 100 pounds throughout my 20s. And to me, it felt gradual. It felt subtle. And it wasn't until I would say my early 30s, like right before I started this journey, that I realized I am uncomfortable in this body. Like it is hard. I can't get up from the floor without using a chair or a couch or a wall. I was embarrassed. I would play on the floor with my nephew, and I would wait until no one else was looking to get
Mm.
up, because I didn't even want family members to see that I needed to like get up with a couch after playing on the floor with my nephew. And that was a big part of this too, is I have loved being an aunt, and it made me realize I cannot give this boy, my nephew, the best of me at this size, and I want to be the best aunt that I can possibly be for him. And so that was a huge factor in me wanting to get healthy.
Does so it sounds like there's a few factors that really became your rock bottom, if you will.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and you say often that it really wasn't about not loving yourself or not accepting yourself because you had plenty of that. You that was not determined based on a number on a scale for you.
Right. I mean, I'm still insecure about my body
Mm.
and I was always insecure about my body, but I still knew that that is not what determined my worth or my value or what I could offer people. Um, I do believe that I loved myself as much as I could have. I gave to myself in the areas that I could, but I did neglect the physical aspect. And I do believe that like you see the before pictures of people and they're looking miserable, and I don't have any photos like that. Like I'm smiling in all my photos. I truly believe that I was as happy as I could have been with how limited and how small my life was. And I didn't realize how limited and small it was until I was able to start living more and doing more, and wasn't as held back by my size and my health.
You're so honest and so raw. And that clip where when you've just finished, I think hiking 1 mile,
Yeah.
and you just genuinely start like tears of joy and pride and like it meant. Tell me what that meant to you that moment.
That was unexpected. And that was, I started recording that for my friend, for my accountability partner, because she had been encouraging me to hike for a while. And I was like, I'm not a hiker. I'm not going to like it. That's been a lot of this, is like, oh, I'm not going to like it. But it's like, oh, wait, I didn't like it at 400 pounds. Maybe I'll like it now. And so I was just making that mostly to share with her. And I did not expect to start crying. Like it just came out of me when I said, I just hiked a mile. Like, I know that that sounds like such a small amount to so many people, but to me, it was even just saying I just hiked. was a huge deal. Like I wrote about that in my journal and was like, I just hiked because I wanted to. Like that was mind blowing to me. And then being able to accomplish something like that, that I didn't think that I could, that I didn't think that I would want to, it just meant so much to me. It's the freedom. That's what I want. I want the choice. I didn't have the choice to hike up for a mile before. Like my body couldn't have done it. And now I have the choice. And maybe sometimes I'll say, no, I don't want to go hiking. And
Yeah.
that's okay. But I get to decide if I want to. It's not my body or my health deciding for me.
You deciding that you wanted to feel good and freedom and to take control back of your health. But I feel like it's now bigger than you. It's impacting thousands of hundreds of thousands. Where do you where's the intersection between you still taking care of yourself, what your needs are, and also serving others?
Yeah. That has been, honestly, I'm still figuring that out.
Hmm.
That has been part of the journey. My focus and priority is still on my own health and my life and my schedule and how I do things. And I will continue to put that first so that I can serve others and love others and help others. I know that I have to fill up my cup in order to fill up other people's cup. And so that is what I will continue to do. But it's been difficult in seasons where I was really busy. In the fall, I had shoots almost every single day with my photography business. And I had to kind of let things simmer a little bit on my health account, which was hard because I just had all this growth. And you hear, like, you got to show up, you got to
Hmm.
be consistent. But at that time, I couldn't be consistent there while I was still showing up for myself and my health and my photography business, which is where I'm making my money. I'm not making money from sharing my health account yet. I hope that I can turn it into something that does that, just so that I can invest more time in it. Um, but yeah, I'm still learning that and figuring it out. But I feel okay putting the focus on me and my health, um, while being able to show up there in the way that I can. And I feel that my audience too is just like, that's so uncomfortable to say my audience. Like, that's so weird. But they're so supportive. Like, anytime I've been like, hey, I haven't been showing up here because I'm sick or I'm busy, like, I get the DMs like, take care of yourself and do what you need to do. And like, we miss you, but work on you. And it's like, it's just so amazing to have that, to know that I can share openly like that, because that page is for health. It is not just weight loss. And part of health is mental and
Yeah.
emotional and keeping track of your schedule and getting enough sleep. And so I'll say, you know what, I'm in a busy season. I might not be showing up here as much, but that's okay. Like, I'm still focusing on my health, and that's what it's all been about.
Diet has changed. You're just leaning into healthier, more not plant-based, but just organics, more
Yes, more
non-processed
whole
food.
foods. Yeah, I'm not plant based. I do have a good amount of dairy and meat, but I try to get, like, all the no hormones, no
Yeah.
antibiotics, as much as possible. Yeah.
And there's a lot of movement going on, a lot of fun. So
Yes.
it's you again, you're not punishing yourself. So
Right.
you've discovered ways to move and have fun, like pickleball or dancing, or even, like you said, jogging in place, just to get
Yeah.
some circulation moving. I love having like dancing in the kitchen, dance
Yeah.
parties. I think that's the best way too. But as far as someone who's just listening, Leah, like they're like, man, inspired by your story, but are feeling, remember, like you were the day before you started, maybe
Yeah.
not, like that needs that extra little push. What would you say to them? And what are some easy things that they can start doing now
Yeah.
to make progress?
Yeah. I would say that mindset is the first thing that you need to start working on. And that is the biggest mindset shifts for me have been letting go of the all or nothing thinking. I used to actually believe, like when I had tried dieting in the past, I would say like, oh, if I can't eat healthy today, then I might as well not exercise. Like if
Mm.
I couldn't do it all, then I was going to do nothing. And somehow we actually convince ourselves that that makes sense. But it's like, how could 10 minutes of walking be not a better idea than no walking? Like it's so easy for us to just get into that perfectionist tendency where it's like, if I can't do it all, then I'm not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to remember, like, this is not this, our goals and our habits, they're for us. They are to benefit us. And so they are not to be perfect and to make it look effortless. They are for our benefit. So bottom line is 10 minutes of walking is going to benefit me more than no walking. And having one nutritious meal is going to benefit me more than having no nutritious meals. And so letting go of that all or nothing mentality that just kept me stuck for so long was such a big part of it. And also, like I mentioned, I don't see what I'm doing as a diet. It's not because a diet is temporary, and this is not temporary. I'm not doing this until I get to this weight or until I can experience this thing. I changed my lifestyle. And it was a hard pill to swallow, honestly. That was a lot of, in the first few months, it was a lot of, oh my gosh, I have to do this forever. Seriously? Like, that
Mm-hmm.
sucks. Even though that's what I wanted. Like, I knew that I wanted a life where I could be active and have all this energy, but I didn't want to do the things that would give me that life. And so I just had to keep reminding myself. What I would do is I'd picture like my future life and ask myself, like, what kind of habits does that person have? And that person walks every day or moves their body in some way every day. That person fuels their body with nutritious food intentionally. And so why am I not living those habits of my future dream self right now? And so that's what I kept reminding myself, like, this is a lifestyle, and I took it as slow as I needed to take it. So that is what I would recommend to people. I would say choose one or two healthy habits you want to incorporate into your life. Mine were eating one nutritious food a day. Literally, that was like my first goal. I'm going to eat one thing that is beneficial for my body, because I was mostly eating fast food and takeout for pretty much every meal, or frozen food. So I started by incorporating eggs every day. That was like my one nutritious food that I ate each day. And then I started walking 10 minutes a day, which that was about all I could do at a time, like
Mm-hmm.
10 consecutive minutes before my body would start to ache and my feet would hurt at that almost 400-pound weight that I was at. And so that's what I started with. And as those felt manageable to me, then I added more. Then it was like, okay, I'm going to start writing what I eat down in a food journal. I didn't start tracking my calories. I just started being mindful. And okay, now I'm going to aim for 8,000 steps throughout the day. So I'd still do 10 minutes at a time, and then marching in place anywhere I could add in more steps. This was the first time that I gave myself permission to start small and slow. And it's because I didn't have the diet mentality of, I need to lose this amount of weight by this time. I had no time goals for myself. No, I have to lose this much by this time. I haven't even had a goal weight this whole time. And I've had multiple people ask me, and I say, I've been overweight my whole life. Like, how am I going to know where I'm feeling
Mm-hmm.
healthiest and best and happiest? Like, I'll know, I think, when I get there. And so that's what I've focused on, and not a specific number or a specific time, but I'm chasing a feeling. And that has been something that has really helped me too. And lastly, the other mindset shift I would say is to accept that you will not feel motivated most days. So many people ask me, like, how do you keep your motivation? How do you stay motivated? And I say, I don't. I am
Mm-hmm.
not. I am not motivated to move my body every day and to eat healthy every day, but I do it anyway. I now view it as like brushing. Like, I'm rarely. not rarely. I'm never excited to brush my teeth. I'm never like,
Right.
woohoo, it's time to brush our teeth. They're like, I'm so excited to take a shower or do the laundry. But it's like, it's stuff that we do because we're taking care of ourselves and taking care of our lives. And so that's how I view this now. It's okay. We don't have to feel motivated to do it, but we can do it because we know it's good for us.
You have done a really good job at listening to that inner voice of saying, hey, I'm going to lean into photography. This is something that I'm really enjoying. And now you're leaning into this because this is where the universe is pulling you. And it's so important to do that as women. And sometimes we create barriers and not follow those inner voices, but you're doing such a good job. And what advice would you give to women who are maybe thinking about pivoting or have that little inkling to want to try something new?
I would, something that has been very helpful for me throughout this journey is journaling. And I feel like it's so, we can just get so caught up in what we need to do or what we should do, and we think about, oh, so if I pivot to this I'll get this, but then I'll lose this. And I feel like really allowing yourself to journal or just truly process possible outcomes, how you're feeling about it all. I just feel like it's so freeing and it's such a release and can hopefully help you realize that it will be okay either way. Like
Hmm.
it's not, if you choose to pivot and it doesn't work out how you planned, that's not a failure. Like I personally don't believe trying something and having it not work out is not failing to me. Not trying at all is failing to me. And so I think part of it is just giving yourself permission to explore the things that you would want to explore and be okay with them not working out the way that you might have hoped.
I think that's a fantastic way to end this conversation, Leah. I think it's hopeful and inspiring. And you're right, like fail forward, fail fast. It's never a failure anyway, and just go for it, right? So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for sharing so freely. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved this so much.
I will include your handles on our show notes, but tell people how they can find you.
Yes, you can find me at Leah Hope Health across all platforms. Like I'm mostly on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And yeah, and I always want to tell people, like, if they want to reach out to me, they can. I can no longer keep up with all the DM requests, but I do have my email address in my profile too. If you're like, I just got to talk to her, and it might take me 2 weeks to get back to you, but I will get back to you if you email me.
That is super generous. Thank you. Bye.